you will support us. There will be slides, but before that, just a few words. I would love to thank the organizers for taking this risk. I'm not from Naples. I was not educated in Naples. I work for a private university, and I'm not an historian. So what went through Giorgio Spencer's mind when he thought that I could give his keynote, God knows. So if it doesn't work, you know who is to be blamed. Not the poor philosopher, who shouldn't be here, but certainly our colleague. Now, I will need some help with the slides to start them for anyone here who knows how to do that. But before doing that, take your this is what. As a way of apologizing for being here. My best hope is to be adopted by Naples one day, but we'll see. I have talked to my nephew. The idea was to provide you with a vision of what, if you like, Federico would do if he were to establish a university today. What is the future of education? What happens in a world that has seen one of the most dramatic transformations in human history, the digital revolution? So the title there, therefore, is divided actually into the main title, which is Federico Second and Speaking of University, or really on the future of digital education. Before starting, let me show you one thing that happens when you trust digital technology. You ask digital technology to tell you your usual bot. I won't mention the bot, but you know who I'm talking about. Tell me something about Federico, and it goes quite correctly, 1224, this and that, but then he gets a little bit confused, because Federico II, Frederick the Great must be the same person. So the same Federico, which was amazing, but was not that amazing, apparently also now transformed German education in 1763. Now that is claiming too much even for Federico II. This is a way of showing what it means to have an education in the digital age. You cannot trust these tools, you need to use them, but you need to know how to use them. Trivial enough for anyone to comment on it, and I recommend you to have a look at the website, which is actually magnificent. The history of the university, only a fifth stage in the Federico II. After those four that have been quite nicely illustrated in the history of the university, from the foundation all the way to the modern stage. What's the next step? What can we look into? What can we design today so that the students who will attend our universities, the Federico II, but not only, the faculty, the academics, the staff, will be working in a 21st century university that looks concretely, constructively to the digital revolution. That is what I'm going to cover with some simplifications in the next few slides. What I will do is to present you, and this slide will come back, so if you want to sleep for a little while, please do, and wake up again when I show you this slide the next round. I don't have much time, and also speak too much anyway, so I will share with you one idea, which I hope might be a good one. It may not be the only one for our university of the future, and two consequences. It's quite simple, even for the ones who will be getting started. The idea is straightforward. Education as linguistic proficiency. It sounds a little bit confusing, hence the need for the next 20 minutes to explain it. What do we mean? What is possibly got to do with, for example, agricultural sciences or astrophysics, languages, anyway. So education in a digital stage of our history as linguistic proficiency, more on this in a moment, and two consequences of what happens if you take this idea seriously. Education as the careful semantic capital, more on this in a moment, always that will require some explanation, and education as personal identity. Understanding who we are and therefore who we can be constructively. Now this is the paper concept, as they say. Let's start with the idea. I know you know, but I'm afraid you might have accidentally missed the dramatic element in this picture. This is the amount of information we have, data, actually volume of data in the world, and it might be one of the pictures you've seen a million times. The whole point is not to look at the top right, it's to look at the bottom left. That's where sometimes people get confused. So, oh my goodness, there's so much data today. Yes, that's not the point. The point is that everything started 20 years ago, literally in our life. The digital revolution has generated more data than humanity has ever seen in its entire history, not only, but all the data we have. From the day when Federico wrote that letter, and even before, when Pompeii was around, and even before, when Rome was founded, and even before, all the data in the universe of human history make that 199% of that has been generated by us in the last 25 years. That, of course, contains not only Federico's letter, but also our cats and dogs on Facebook. That counts as information too, but that's data as well. I'm afraid also on your chat on WhatsApp. But data doesn't mean quality, of course, and I think it means the sea within which we are swimming. This is the world within which we spend more of our lives. We are constantly online. I mean, some of you are taking pictures here. Your phone is being geotagged, sending more data to that pile. Well, this happened quite quickly. It happened, especially in the modern stage or era, through these four, and I'm always simplifying, four big steps: printing, the invention of the computer, internet, artificial intelligence. I'm picking up this four for this following four reasons. With the printing, information became truly available everywhere. With the computer, it became truly processable. You could process information in a way that no one before had ever even imagined it was doable. With the internet, the accessibility, not the availability, because availability is a big library locked up. But with the internet, it's a big library that anyone can actually consult. And AI means production of content. It's not just that every revolution has built on and improved on and synergized with the previous one. It's also changed the extension of the impact. So availability, processability, accessibility, producibility of all this, in short, checked. What does it look like? Well, we all know, and we've known this for a long time, that there's a tension between facts and skills. Inevitably, it was true when Federico established the Federico II, it is true today. They're both essential for the game of knowledge. If you want to play properly, you need to know stuff, but you also need to know how to do stuff. That's why we heard about all those labs at the Federico II. Those guidelines, those are not just that such and such is the case. It's also how to do this and that. So the APAP changes, big acronym, it has shifted things a little bit from the know that to the know how. But the risk is that it's going to privilege passive knowledge. The knowledge of the kid who tells you, oh, someone somewhere must have found this, let me just find it. Someone somewhere must have an answer for this, let me just reproduce it. Oh, ChatGPT or any other one that we prefer after the box, but it's going to do it for me. If you like, for the less young among us, the TV viewer, that passive sort of acquisition. So the risk is that we have in front of us a culture of users and consumers of knowledge, science, culture, information, scholarship, not of designers and producers. Now, of course, we want to have both. I mean, I'm a sinner. I watch Netflix. My name is Luciano Floridi, and I watch Netflix. But of course, together with that, a Federico II kind of style of university is not there for passive absorption of information, but it's there to produce, as we heard before. I mean, I mean, those movies are a little bit too moving for my heart. Who wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is too so well done. But the impact of that, clearly, all those kids, all those people are there to produce the next stage, to tell us about things we do not know. They're not just passive consumers and eaters of. When we heard that beautiful quote, there are people who have a hunger for knowledge. There are also people who will produce what will satisfy their hunger. Well, this is a way of focusing on designers and producers. So, information society, we should really look at it as a neo-manufacturing society, which of course has replaced, if you like, the raw material, wood and iron, or cement, or leather, with data. But we're still manipulating a lot of stuff. We're still creating things with whatever material we have. And information is both the raw material and the finished good. But maybe, especially for a country like Italy, having a local manufacturing view of the information society would not only fit historically, it would fit culturally. So we need to look at this from a maker's knowledge perspective. Create, design, transform, curate, communicate information. All these words are not there accidentally, but it will take too long to explain it. But I know I'm talking also to colleagues, so how far can I be in patronizing? We do have a Greek problem. Not a Roman problem, by the way, sorry, but a Greek problem. The Greek gave us an enormous amount of good stuff, but one thing, unfortunately, going wrong was this separation between knowledge that episteme and tech, knowledge how. From later onwards, we have been thinking about linguistic ability as a long life on the shelf. How many times, colleagues, have you heard? We're teaching something that you will not use in 3, 4 to X number of months, not even years. They say, well, no, I'm teaching these kids not chemistry, I'm teaching them to speak chemistry. The chemistry I learned when I was out in high school, right? Shall we say, decades ago. Today it's ridiculous. But if I could remember how to speak chemistry, I would easily understand whatever is being said to me by the chemistry professor. I don't need to know exactly what the chemistry there is. If I speak the language, I can actually be part of the game of developing chemistry. And chemistry, just because the first thing that still comes onto me from high school, it could be any other bad example you have in your mind. So Alice needs to learn to speak the language of information. ICTs are going to increase the demand for educators and languages teachers. That's the other side too. Are you able to teach the language of history, the language of physics, the language of mathematics, or are you giving them in theorems without actually teaching them what it means to think in terms of geometrical spaces? Well, that is the challenge, just in case the difficulty, you have enough challenges, not one more. How to teach also the educational class to be a linguistic teacher. I said, to consequence, what was that? So this was the simple idea of education as linguistic proficiency. It may or may not work, and of course there are many other ways of doing this, and complementary, but I would bet that if I had to, say, teach a young kid, I will teach them exactly this. They will go anywhere. If they can speak statistics, if they can speak history of art, if they can speak music, well, the rest of the world is easy. Two concepts and we close. The first one is semantic capital. It's not really culture. The culture tends to be a little bit more sort of limited, and it's not even science. It's everything in your life that's made a difference to the way you understand and make sense of the world. Intangible products, ideas, insights, but also that football game you had when you were a kid, or the kiss you gave or didn't, the music you used to listen to. That is all the semantic capital that makes a difference. And I won't read this aloud. Cultures, languages, arts, religion, etc. that we produce, define, consume, transmit, and inherit. We produce it, refine it, consume it, send it to the next generation, and inherit from the past. This semantic capital is what we use to give meaning to our lives and make sense of our own existences. Anything that is around us, how we develop our individual and societal life. It defines who we are. You walk into a church and you see two old gentlemen. Well, if you are born in a Christian society, you will identify them as St. Peter and St. Paul. If you are not born in a Christian society, those are just two old gentlemen. So one has the keys, the other one has a sword. Surely nada. I mean, if you don't have that semantic capital, that is meaningless to you. You look at a piece of cloth and someone sees an enemy because that piece of cloth is a flag of someone I hate. That is semantic capital. So that's what I'm talking about. So that semantic capital is what enables us to give sense to our own life. But this is precisely also education as a linguistic ability. What helps us to handle how to gain, curate, create, and transmit our semantic capital. There is a huge responsibility. But that's why when it's moving, when you know the history of the university, there is a secular university. Now, a secular university can more easily handle semantic capital than any other institution because it's more open, it's pluralistic, it's tolerant. And so it doesn't tell you that there is the semantic capital of this particular culture or this particular, we say, church, but it will tell you that there's a variety of semantic capitals that you can apply. And that's why Federico is the future, contrary to institutions that are more linked to one only semantic capital that they need to convey. There's an openness here that is a strength, a painful strength, as we heard from the Federico, because it costs money and it costs effort, but it's a strength nonetheless. And education as identity. If you acquire the language of information, if you speak information, then since our identities are also informational, we describe ourselves as data subjects, data patients, data citizens, data workers, then the limits of our informational languages are also the limits of our world. There's a quote from Wittgenstein in many sentences. I graduated first year and comes out of the secondo after a number of years with a variety of informational languages as they own. They speak internally, they own those languages. They are comfortable, they are conversant with the languages spoken by such and such disciplines. But this will be the limit of their world. What they can or cannot achieve, how far they can go in life, what kind of jobs they will get. The broader, the richer a dense semantic capital and languages can be, the better they will be. And so we heard again, back to the is about Secondo University, but we heard that at the Secondo, you can learn any information language from A to Z under the same roof. Now, if only, and that's an indication for the Italian institutions, students could move freely between those languages. If only they could choose and pick and decide, I want to be able to speak Chinese and computer science. I want to be able to speak music and algebra. Then we will be seeing a 21st century that Federico that the gap will be proud of. We almost there. So the limits of my information languages, not through misquote or Wittgenstein, are the limits of my education and my identity. And since I mentioned Plato bad-mouthing him a little bit in terms of technology and epistemology, well, let me give to Plato what belongs to Plato. This is Carlos, and it's a long time ago, but still probably today valuable. Who is a knower, someone who knows? The man, well, those were the days, ladies, I'm sorry, but the person who knows how to ask and answer questions. In other words, no, who's the right answer? Someone who speaks the language accordingly. And the sort of knowledge we require is that in which there happens to be an illusion of making and knowing how to use the thing made. And today is called information. Thank you.